What is quiet time?
Grown-ups work downstairs and the kids go upstairs in their bedroom and play for like 1 hour and then they come down for a show.
What do you like about quiet time?
You just get to rest.
You get to rest.
You don't have to go completely in your bed. You just can play on the floor with your toys, or you can go in your bed.
We're gonna talk quiet time. What better moment to talk quiet time than when my kids are right up there in quiet time. So I'm just gonna run through, this is my zone, this is where I spend my quiet time. I've got my laptop, some questions. I'm just gonna run through some of the things that people ask me about it. I'm just me, I only have my kids. So this is our experience with it and what I've learned and heard from other people. But number one, what is quiet time? So quiet time is a space, usually in the afternoon for us, where the kids go into their rooms, portion of time, an hour for us, where they do their own thing. I'm down here, we're apart. Initially we did it because they dropped their afternoon naps. They drop their naps, but I don't want to drop the moment in the day where I get a moment out. And I don't think we are failure caregivers if we need a break in the middle of the day. But they actually really need the time. They play together, they recharge, they rest. They're pretty good now at knowing what they need from the hour, so they'll read books if they need to, they'll lie down if they need to, and we notice when they don't get it, so we will really build it in. So the way that I make it work changes a little bit at different moments of with different ages, and then having 1 versus 2 in there. When they're dropping their afternoon nap, and they're not really sleeping anymore. We kind of did with Clayton an in-between time where we would say, okay, it's quiet time, and after about 10 minutes he would actually fall asleep. But then once he'd completely quit sleeping, and I still wanted him to do a quiet time, we would say, okay, it's quiet time. And we started off by doing it in the crib. So then he was contained. I knew that he was safe in there, that he just had what I'd given him access to, and we would just do 10 minutes. 10 minutes of quiet time. We would go in, we would explain. I wouldn't put the lights down or the curtains like in nap time. I would put a few toys in there and we would do 10 minutes. And as he adjusted to 10 minutes, we would do 15 minutes and we would up the quiet time. And then as he was ready, we would bring him out of the crib into the room with some toys, and from pretty quickly he learned to do about an hour of time playing by himself, quiet time, which is phenomenal. Then with a second kid, I could line that quiet time up with an afternoon nap. So I have always had an hour in the afternoon, and it really changes the game for me. If you're in the position where you don't want them to be taking an afternoon nap, so sometimes we were in that position. Clayton is good at sleeping at night, but he wakes up very early, so we wanted to limit his day sleep. We would do things like move the quiet time as early as possible in the day, so eat and then go right into it, or even if you need to do it before lunch so you can still get that time but it's not interfering with night sleep, or else set up more activities, maybe even change the bed so that going to the bed is not an option, or use a different space. So sometimes we've done it in a different space from the bedroom so that it's clear this is not a sleep time, this is quiet time, we play, it's about playing on our own and not about sleeping. How do you make them stay in is a common question I get a lot of the time, and building up in kind of 10-minute increments really helps them know what the deal is. We also have used at the beginning of doing it, now they just know the deal, at the beginning, that if they stay in quiet time, then there's a show afterwards, or if you want there to be a show afterwards, regardless, if you stay in, there's a choice of show, of their choice at the end. We've done different things related to a show at the end. I choose to then sit with them and watch the show, but it could double up, so that if you need extra time to do whatever you're doing, they have the quiet time and then the show, and it gives you an even larger chunk. But that is how we kept them in. Initially there was a bit of, we want to get out. Okay, no, this is quiet time, here's what that looks like. And then as they get older and they can understand a bit more, if they're really pestering me, I'll say, okay, this is extending quiet time. If you don't do proper quiet time, we're going to add minutes on the end, and they'll jump right back in. We also use a yellow to green clock in the morning, which I've at times used for quiet time too, so they can see when the light goes yellow, there's a certain number of minutes left, or using a clock with hands. Our kids share a room, which I love, but it does make quiet time different at the beginning when one of them was napping and one of them wasn't. So what we did was actually found a separate space for the napping child rather than the quiet time child, just because toys were in the bedroom. But depending on your house situation, that was what we did with 2 kids in the same room, was just to bring one out. You could either bring out the quiet time child or the napping child, and split them up so that you still have one napping and one in quiet time. For that season where we had both of those, we just found a way to split them up. What do they do in quiet time? There are certain things we'll remove from the room for quiet time. Any markers, we have definitely had some disasters, scissors, things like that, but for the most part, they know the deal. Mostly they play with a big box of Legos at this age. At younger ages, they would play with different blocks or toys that were in their room. We've always had a few baskets of toys in their bedrooms, read books. I don't set out activities before. They know the toys that are in their room. They're now really good. They're a few years into doing this. They will just find what they need. Sometimes they'll tell me, I want something from downstairs in quiet time, and they do that. But you can also set out activities if maybe they're newer to it or finding it hard. Hey, you've got different stations for quiet time. I'm not going to put in that much effort when they just don't need it, but different options for ways to make it work. And then as they've got older, I have told them, hey, you've got 5 minutes left. Let's do some cleanup. So that's probably right about now. So here's how we do it. Hey guys, we've got about 5 minutes left. So I want you both to do some cleanup, go to the bathroom and flush the toilet, and then I'll call you down, okay? And that is how we come to the end of quiet time. And then I'll call them down, we'll watch a show, and that is how we do it. So kind of our routine is, I'll let them know, you know, okay, after this task, we're gonna go into quiet time, so that if there's anything that they really want to do or want to take into quiet time, they can gather it. Then I will have them go to the bathroom, especially essential when they were potty training or less good at making it through quiet time. I would send them to go to the bathroom, and then I just send them up. I don't even take them up there. It's an independent hour for them. They go upstairs. At times I have shut a stair gate or a door, but they really know the score, so they just do it. And then usually about halfway through they'll ask, are we done, or how many more minutes left? And we'll explain that, how many more minutes there are left. And then at 5 minutes to go, we do that, say, hey, 5 minutes to go, clean up. Obviously I didn't do that when they were younger, but it really helps now for them to put away anything that they've used during quiet time. They never get all of it, but it helps. It just feels like it creates some responsibility. It makes them aware of what they're doing in quiet time. And then I'll call them down. I also try to not have them play solo in their room for the couple of hours before, because it feels like it uses up their tank. So sometimes after lunch they'll go and they'll want to go play in their room, and I'll say, hey, come down, we're going to do a different activity, and I'll have them do something that they wouldn't do in quiet time, so that they're not kind of using up that quota of time that they have a limit for themselves. Do you ever do anything cheeky in quiet time? Never, right?
No.
All right, we're off to watch a show. That's how we do quiet time in the Nash house. What's your favorite thing about quiet time?
Talking.
That's my favorite thing about quiet time.